Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today I am excited to share with you a special bonus video that I created working in collaboration with ID to tell you about their lineup of 9 straight nights of true crime specials called 9 at 9. Each special will focus on different cases and share in-depth coverage and shocking new details. This lineup kicks off on May 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with the story of serial cannibal killer Jeffrey Dahmer, featuring interviews with Dahmer's own father and from the transcripts of audio recordings from the extensive police interviews after Jeffrey Dahmer's arrest. This 2-hour special is chillingly narrated by the words of Dahmer himself. Today, I want to introduce you to the case and give you an overview before you watch the episode. Jeffrey Dahmer was born on May 21st, 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and by the time he was 31, he had already murdered 17 people in the most horrific ways imaginable. From what we can tell, Dahmer had a fairly normal childhood, being described as a happy and energetic kid. He loved playing with stuffed bunnies and wooden blocks, and he and his father even nursed a baby bird back to health before releasing it back into the wild. In 1962, when Jeffrey was 2 years old, the family moved to Iowa, where his father Lionel was working on his PhD at the local university. In 1966, when he was 6 years old, the family moved again, this time to Ohio. It seems to be the age of 6 when the happy little boy started to become withdrawn and uncommunicative. His younger brother was born when he was in the 1st grade, and his teachers reported that Jeffrey was feeling neglected at home. There also appeared to be issues in his parents' marriage as they began sleeping in separate bedrooms, and he also had to undergo surgery to correct a double hernia. By the time he was in his early teens, he would be described as tense, disengaged, and largely friendless. At the age of 10, he began collecting roadkill and performing experiments on his new acquisitions. He learned how to bleach the bones of chickens and strip meat off the bones of these dead animals using acid. He began abusing alcohol at the age of 13, and the following year was his first reported fantasy of engaging in sex with a corpse. Over the course of 13 years, Dahmer hunted for men he could lure home and then kill. He prowled gay bars, malls, and bus stops and chose mainly African-American men who he would then bring home and serve them drinks laced with drugs before strangling them. It was only after they were dead that Dahmer would engage in sexual activity with the corpses of his victims, taking pictures at various stages during his process of their murder and the aftermath. When he was done, he would dismember the bodies and dispose of them, but he was known to keep body parts from his victims as souvenirs. Using the souvenirs and photos he had taken, Dahmer would be able to relive his grotesque acts as often as he wanted to. According to Jeffrey Dahmer, his compulsions toward necrophilia and murder presented themselves around the age of 13, but he didn't act on them until many years later. His first victim was 18-year-old Stephen Hicks, whom Dahmer picked up while Hicks was hitchhiking. They went back to Jeffrey's place for drinks and to smoke some pot, but when Stephen tried to leave, Dahmer hit him on the back of the head with a barbell, killing him. He dragged the body under his house, dismembered it, and placed the pieces in plastic bags which he buried behind the house. This was the same year his parents divorced, and Jeffrey enrolled at Ohio State before dropping out due to his alcohol problem. Dahmer's mother and his younger brother left, and his father moved back in with him, convincing his son that enrolling in the Army would be the best move for him after his bad luck with college. In 1979, Dahmer was stationed at different military bases in Alabama and Texas before being sent to Baumholder, West Germany to serve as a combat medic. During his time in Germany, 5 unsolved murders involving mutilation of victims occurred. In 1981, he was discharged from the Army, once again due to his excessive drinking, and he moved for some time to Miami, Florida, where he worked in a sub shop. In 1982, he returned to Wisconsin to live with his elderly grandmother, and in September of 1987, Dahmer picked up another victim, 25-year-old Stephen Toomey, who would later be reported missing. Dahmer would keep this pattern going until finally, in 1991, one of his victims escaped and went to the police. When the police searched Dahmer's home, they found frozen organs and a barrel of dissolved human remains. In February of 1992, Dahmer is charged with 15 counts of murder and found guilty for all 15, acquiring himself a total of 957 years in jail. 2 years later, he was murdered in jail by another inmate. Jeffrey Dahmer is one of the most notorious serial killers out there, and actually the topic of my next Serial Killers series. The episode on him, airing May 25th on ID, is narrated in his own words using transcripts of his chilling police interviews, and interviews with his father, Lionel, as well as one of his victims who survived his attacks, Ronald Flowers. There's also an interview with Dr. Park Dietz, well-known forensic psychiatrist, and he actually examined Dahmer when he was alive. There's also an emotional interview with a woman who attempted to save one of Dahmer's victims. So make sure you tune in on May 25th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time to watch the show, and ID will also be hosting a Facebook watch party for you to view a sneak peek of the special. I'll be there, and I hope you join me. I, for one, am extremely excited to watch the special, find out more about the life and crimes of Jeffrey Dahmer, get some research in for my series coming up. So I hope you guys join me in watching this, and we can discuss it afterwards. Thank you so much for hanging out with me during this short bonus video. Stay kind, stay beautiful, stay safe, stay home, and I will see you very soon. Bye.